On a Saturday morning in June 2019, a Seminole County deputy pulls over a black Cadillac Escalade on a highway ramp outside Lake Mary, Florida. The reason for the stop is the window tint. That is the entire reason. What follows is nearly 9 minutes of small talk. It is friendly, it is unhurried, and it ends in a way that almost nobody watching the first 8 minutes would predict. Every second of the original audio has been removed. The score is ours, the voice is ours, the graphics are ours. Let's read this one properly. He opens it the way a tint stop usually opens. He explains the number. Here is what the statute actually says. Florida sets a floor on how much light has to get through your glass. It is measured as visible light transmission, or VLT, and the lower the number, the darker the window. For the front side windows, the figure written into section 316.2953 is 28%. And because an Escalade counts as a multipurpose vehicle, the glass behind the driver is held to a far more permissive floor than it would be on an ordinary sedan. Then he puts a meter on the glass, and the meter comes back with a 3.
3% VLT means 3% of the daylight outside that car is reaching the inside of it. That is darker than the film most shops sell as limousine tint. From outside, in full daylight, an officer walking up to that window cannot see hands, cannot see a lap, and cannot count the people in the car. That is the whole safety argument behind tint enforcement. It is also the only reason this stop exists at all.
Now, something we can prove about this recording before we go any further. The timestamp burned into the top left corner belongs to the camera, not to the channel that posted it. We pulled that strip out of the file and read it end to end, 25 seconds at a time. It runs from 9:39 and 47 straight through to 9:48 and 32. That is 8 minutes and 45 seconds of clock, spread across 8 minutes and 45 seconds of video. No jumps, no resets, not 1 second lifted out of the middle. This is not a highlight cut. It is the whole stop in real time in the order it happened. There are 2 cameras running here. The wide fisheye is the deputy's body camera. The small window in the corner is the patrol car's dash camera, watching the Escalade from behind. Both carry the same clock. And for nearly all of that real time, this is a genuinely pleasant conversation. He reads the driver's license, finds the name on it, and tells him it is the best name he has come across in 14 years of doing this job. That is not a technique. That is a man enjoying his morning. Then he looks at the registration and tells the driver is technically expired, but that there is case law giving him until the end of the month. He is right about the answer and slightly off about where it comes from. It is not case law. It is written directly into the statute. Under section 320.07, a Florida registration expires at midnight on the owner's birthday, but an officer may not issue a citation for it until midnight on the last day of that birth month. The grace period is statutory, not judge-made. So he is handing back a ticket he would have been completely within his rights to write. Hold on to that because it tells you what he believed this stop was. He also explains why he followed the car for a while instead of stopping it where he first saw it. He wanted the driver somewhere with a shoulder off a live traffic lane. That is a deliberate choice, and it comes from the same instinct as the ticket he did not write. Which brings us to the single most important fact in this video, and it is the date. June the 29th, 2019. 2 days later, on July the 1st, Florida's hemp law took effect. Senate Bill 1020 legalized hemp containing less than 0.3% THC. Legal hemp and illegal cannabis smell exactly the same. Within days, prosecutors across Florida were backing away from the idea that odor on its own could justify searching a car. On July the 3rd, the Florida Highway Patrol put it in writing to its own troopers. Smell by itself was no longer enough. They needed odor plus something else. So he asked the question that the law, in June, still allowed him to ask. He asks about the smell. He asks about a medical card. The answers do not line up.
This stop lands inside the final 48 hours of the old rule. In June 2019, the smell of cannabis on its own was still treated in Florida as probable cause to search a vehicle. A week later, that had effectively collapsed because the smell no longer told anyone which of two legal categories the plant belonged to. Same officer, same car, same conversation, 72 hours later, and the legal ground underneath it is a different shape.
And then he asked for the one thing that changes everything. He asked the driver to switch the engine off. That request is the point where this stops being a traffic stop. It is also the last frame of this footage we're going to put on your screen. Not because it is unclear and not because it is disputed, because what happens next is a man being badly hurt, and you do not need to watch it to understand it. The rest is on the record, and we will read it to you. The driver put the Escalade into gear with the deputy's arm still inside the window. There was a struggle over the deputy's holster and over his radio. The vehicle accelerated onto the Interstate 4 ramp with the deputy hanging off the driver's door. By the sheriff's office account, he was dragged more than 100 yards. The deputy fired. The driver was struck in the leg. The vehicle swerved. The deputy came off onto the road surface, and he was treated for injuries that were not life-threatening and released from hospital the same day. The deputy was Aaron Blaze. The driver was Rocky Rudolph Jr., which is the name Blaze had spent the calm half of this stop telling him was the finest he had heard in 14 years. It took nearly 5 years to reach a jury, and when it finally did, that jury declined the top count. In January 2024, they acquitted him of attempted murder of a law enforcement officer and convicted him of attempted manslaughter instead. That distinction is 12 people deciding they were not satisfied he set out that morning intending to kill. They convicted him on everything else. Aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, fleeing and eluding, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, resisting an officer without violence, attempting to deprive an officer of his means of protection and communication, and possession of cannabis. On February the 14th, 2024, he was sentenced as a habitual felony offender. 30 years on the aggravated battery count, 15 years on the firearm, 5 on the attempted manslaughter, and 5 for going after the radio. Aaron Blaze took the stand at that trial and watched his own body camera footage back in open court. He told the jury he is no longer in law enforcement. So what is this recording in the end? It is 9 minutes of a man being talked out a ticket he had genuinely earned by an officer who was in no hurry and wanted him parked somewhere safe first. It is a stop run under a rule about smell that had about 48 hours left to live. And it is 4 seconds at the very end that finished 2 lives in 2 completely different ways. The footage is a Seminole County Sheriff's Office public record, obtained here through the Police Activity Channel. Every source we used is linked in the description. Thanks for watching.